Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. When you're finished soldering, take a pair of pliers, or you can set it on the edge of a table and tap it with something and mash the end of that solder together, because the rosin will leak out the end. It won't damage most things, but it makes a mess, and also it means that it's not in the solder when you need it.
Like most of my projects, about halfway through, I looked at it and decided this really needs to be a little bit more. So rather than just changing the cord, I'm going to go through and clean this drill motor and service it. New grease, check all the fittings, make sure everything's working right. It's going to take a little bit longer than what I originally thought.
Okay. Slide that open a little bit. And the next trick is to get this up past the brushes without breaking them. Was to take a piece of thread, put it in through where the brushes go, see if I can't get this to tie on there. Some grease in the bearings and on the gear. And slip this together. There. Now, to hold that while I'm working on it, I'm going to get a vise. Almost forgot. To put some oil on this bearing. Now I can put the cover on. Now, while I got it held up, I'm going to put this piece of heat shrink tubing on there. I think I can cut some of that off. I don't need quite that much. Okay, let's plug this thing in, see if it works. Seems to be fine. I gotta clean up the chuck. This isn't chuck cleaner. It's carburetor and air intake cleaner, but I have a lot of it. I had an Aveo, and the Aveo was a piece of crap. The design of the car was at best minimal. And then I bought it through Sundance Chevrolet up in Lansing and St. John's. And Sundance Chevrolet is their dealership. They sell used cars. Everything you ever heard bad about a used car dealer, I think most of it came from dealing. The car leaked oil past the ring so badly that it backed up into the fuel injection body and clogged everything. I went to buy a fuel injector at Airway Auto over in Battle Creek. Another and it seems that Aveos have two intake bodies. Well, I gave them the year and the engine number and everything for the engine and said I need to have an injector body for this. Thinking that I could get it to run, because it did get good gas mileage. It got about 35-40 miles a gallon when it was running right. It was a fun little car to drive. Didn't have a lot of horsepower, but it did drive well. Now, when Airway ordered the injector, they wanted a $25 deposit before they ordered the injector body. So I went down there. They said they had it in. Took them 3 weeks. Went down there, picked it up, looked at it, and said, "This won't work. It's the wrong style." They said, "Well, the deposit is non-refundable." So they sold me something knowing it wouldn't fit. Ordered it in knowing it wouldn't fit, and then wouldn't stand behind their counter person who said, "Oh yeah, this will fit." So, be that as it may, I was not happy with the little car. I bought this stuff and I cleaned the intake, or the fuel injector body, and I cleaned the mass air intake, the mass air sensor, and got it running. I just had to do that every month or so. I was driving 120 miles round trip every day to Lansing, every day, working 7 days a week. And that kept the engine running. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, depends on how you look at it, I hit a deer with the Aveo. I actually hit two of them. I hit one, managed to have it just bounce off, but there was a lot of deer on the back way to Lansing, which was a better way than taking I-69. When I hit the deer, it knocked me into the ditch, and I ran down the length of the ditch and hit a bunch of railroad tie fence posts that they had down in the bottom of the ditch. Well, along the fence. And it wiped out the whole right hand side of the car. When I went to the insurance company, they just scrapped the car. Paid me, totaled it out, scrapped the car, and paid me full price for it. I was happy. They said I could buy the car back from them, and it was drivable. I probably could have done that. And I thought, nah, we're not going to do that. So I took the money and bought a Sonoma. Nice little truck. Liked the truck. So all's well that ends well. And I ended up with a lot of carburetor cleaner left over, which cleans things without damaging them. That's good. Can't use it on electrical stuff, but you can clean crap out of things like this chuck. There. Okay. Little drill motor's working. So this is a 1/4 inch drill, number 704, type 1, double insulated. Non-reversible, doesn't have variable speed. It's like the simplest little drill motor you could get. Probably cost very little when it was new. But if you want to drill 1/4 inch holes or smaller, this will get you by. Especially now with a new cord. Happy to have it done. Today I got a 1/4 inch Black & Decker drill that I want to put a new cord on. It's going to take a little bit of work, but we'll get it. Is it worth the trouble to do all this? I get asked this question every once in a while. You know, I spend a lot of time on things that really, when they're all done, they're not all that great to start with. This is the challenge. Can I make it work? 9 times out of 10, I can. And on the 10th one, you never see it. If you have any suggestions for new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.